Hello everyone, ZMiner99 here, and welcome back for another live stream. And today, we are back on the Minecraft Generations world. We're just going to be hanging out here, probably cleaning up some stuff like that throughout the day, and that. That's going to be part of what we're doing today. Anyhow, all those pumpkins grew and all of that grew. Did my timing mechanism break? That is another thing we are doing. We'll go ahead and do that first. Actually, we're not going to go around that way. We'll just go straight through the wall right here. As so. All of the items are in there, which means that this should no longer be getting powered. See if it can go through full cycle without breaking again. Should be able to. That's weird. That must have just happened because of the update. Or it's, yeah, probably because it logged out and then updated. All at the right exact timings to be able to screw it up. It looks like it's working now, so that's good. Sehr gut. Very good. Alright, we need some stone. Now, where did stone stuff go? Right there. My computer wants to update. This isn't a good thing. Windows is coming out with a new string of updates, and my computer, my computer is wanting to go ahead and do its portion of the update, even though it just did one of them last night. So there's a whole nother step it has to go through. Updates to computers, they happen. They happen, guys. Aww. So, let's go strip out these rails. I'm still not exactly a fan of how the achievement stuff kind of gets reset when I update between worlds. But hello there, two villagers. Huh. There we go. Right. Now let's see. Can we harvest some more food? So that we might be able to feed these villagers enough that we can start breeding. I know I've given up on it to a large portion, but they won't take pumpkins, will they? I don't think so. They will take melons, though. They should take melons. Guys, you're about to get yourselves killed if you keep doing that. Just letting you know. You guys gonna be able to pick that up? No? How about that? No? How about that? Maybe they can't eat melons. We'll leave them there. Then we'll make some bread. Because I know they can have bread. Just feared they could have melons as well. It's one thing at least. Ah! I need to put that block back. Wait, hold on. We have blocks in our inventory. Let's just do it now. There. Let's try adding bread in the corner. Okay, so they'll take the bread, they just won't take the melons. That's fine. I guess I can eat the melons. Melons are for me then. So let's haul out a little space here for our villager friends to hang out and preferably not die. Like this guy wants to do to them. Kari. I'll just use a half slab. I need the crafting table to make a half slab. I can't half slab. I always call them half slabs. They aren't half slabs, guys. Just letting you know, they aren't half slabs. Anyways. So here there's going to be a little room. A little safe room for the villagers. With an iron door. I think an iron door is a good way to go. If I can grab my iron. Do I have enough iron though? No, because I've been using it for my beacon. We can also just use blocks. There. Now they should be safe. Should be. Should be. Not necessarily will be, but should be. They are villagers, so you can never really tell. Boop, boop. Let's see, we can make a decent bit more pumpkin pies. Hold on, sugar first. Now we can do it. 63 pumpkin pies. Sweet. Go in here. Dump off. Cobblestone can die. Apparently, we have plenty of it. Levers. Rails. Ah, mob drops were over here, Z. As so. Car. Cobblestone can just come over here and like rest in a hole and despawn slowly over time. So Minecraft 1.12.2, very popular version for modding. Certainly a very popular, yeah. I played it a decent bit myself. I know that much. Hitboxes haven't. Ow. There we go. Got it. Hitboxes aren't quite what they are now. Still. What? I've gotten a lot of witches. Apparently. That's weird. They aren't quite what they are now, but they are now in here. But they are not now back there. Like in the... There's two different nows, I suppose. There's this now, which is the now we are in. But then there's the now, which is the now of the now. If you see what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the difference between the now of 1.12, which is where this series has gotten to, and the now of 1.16.3, which is where the now of the world is in. Right? The now of the world. The now of Minecraft. The not unnow. Puzzles. Twisters of the brain tubes. Maybe. That's better. That's a little bit faster since I don't have efficiency 4 or higher on my shovel. Ah! But what do we want to build today, guys? This is a serious question. This is a very serious question indeed. This is so weird. I just got diamonds, but I have like diamond stuff. That's what happens when your achievements get reset. things get funny like that. I remember whenever we were in the Building the Kingdom server, and we did something and a bunch of the achievements got reset, and of course we all had like really good stuff, you know, like we were already to diamond level, you know, and all that by that point. And so like it was literally like you log in, you get like 5 achievements, then you open up a chest and you get more, just because you already had everything. It's just that the notes got reset. That is an axe, not a pickaxe. Even though the other day, I don't know if I should say this, but the other day I was I was calling my axe a pickaxe. Like I was, yeah. Or was I calling the pickaxe an axe? And it wasn't just like for short. It was just like totally like my brain just like not working properly. Hey. Hey! Thank you. This is technically the 13th stream of this series. And I should drink some water. Yeah, this is technically the 13th stream. Because... yeah. Because of how numbers work, that's how it works. This is 112.2, but this is the 13th stream of the series. Yeah. Because we started at 1.0 and worked our way up from there. Now, what would have been really interesting, I think, and if I try doing something like this again, I won't go all the way, do the long series like what I'm doing now. Speaking of which, I'm not sure I'm going to continue this series. I'm going to maybe... I'm going to be readjusting some of my practices, whatnot, trying to probably lessen the number of different things I'm cycling through. So I will limit it to a couple food craft things, a couple other things. Yeah. Yep. So I'm going to be doing server stuff. Probably do a modded... well, we're considering this for Building the Kingdom. Is adding in modded. I know that's been a lot, a serious point of discussion for us on the Building the Kingdom server. And there is certainly a distinct possibility that I will be adding that to the server, but we'll see. The vanilla will not go away. The vanilla server won't go away, but we might add in some modded as well. Yeah, But we'll find out about that one later on. At any rate, what I do know is that there is a poll currently on the Discord. It's ending Saturday. It is to figure out what stream schedule I'm going to be using, at least for the next week and a half. Actually, now that I've got my work schedule and I've had a brief glance over it, it'll probably be the same schedule until Thanksgiving, the US's Thanksgiving. I know Canada's was 2 days ago. But yeah, so yeah. So mine, that week, so I have Thanksgiving week off from classes, right? Probably means I'll be doing a little bit of homework a lot of homework that weekend. Even though I've been fairly well ahead on homework anyways this semester. I probably won't have any homework left by then. So, we'll see. If I don't have any homework left, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I just have to buckle down. I'm having some issues on my numerical optimization homework. I'm just completely stuck. Like, the problem is just, it's stuck. It ain't moving. It ain't gonna move. Beep. Yeah. Yeah. That's a hard one. So I'm like, I have no clue. I've poured over it for like 4 hours, 5 hours, not finding anything. Like, I found like 2 things that were wrong in the 4 or 5 hours that I was going over the code. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to find anything else that I can change with this. So I'm going to give it one more go around tonight. And then hopefully I figure out what's not working right. And if I can't figure out what's not working right, I'm just going to have to move on. Be like, tell my professor, like, hey, like this design idea, like I understand that it's just ridiculous anyways, but I don't know if there's even a way. Like, the thing is I'm getting weird numbers, right? I'm getting numbers that don't make sense. But because of the kind of design idea that it is I'm optimizing, I was expecting the numbers to not make sense. Just I was expecting them to be closer, or just to not run at all. Yeah. I was not expecting to be this crazy, which is why I'm really confused about what I'm, like, what could be wrong. So, because I can't find anything wrong any more. Like, there's a few tweaks I can make to the code to make it seem better, but that directly breaks, like, that breaks math, quite frankly, and which makes it not better. Yeah, so it's just so confusing. I'm going to have another go around with it tonight, but I'm just not going to be able to put in, like, after tonight. Yeah, so like after the stream tonight, I'm just going to work through it. I'm going to look over it again one last time, the first part of the question, and then I'm going to proceed just like, I'm just going to proceed with the other sections of the question and see if I can figure something else out that'll work. Like, just to get the rest of the problem done. Because I'm stuck on the first part. And I don't think any of my classmates have started on it yet, other than like one. I believe there's only one other of my classmates. And I don't think they're as far along as I am. At least that's what it sounded like today when I was in class. So, yeah. I don't really have anywhere I can go to get assistance with it, I don't think, because my professor wants us to all figure it out on our own. But, like, he wants us to work through the issues with it and figure out what it is, troubleshoot our code. But I'm like, I've troubleshooted it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, unless there's something which I have a misunderstanding of, everything's right. So I'm fairly certain there's something with the question or whatever that I don't understand. Or that's worded in a really weird way. I was like, if I only spent 3 hours working on it, because it took me like an hour and a half to 2 hours to code it for the first part of the problem, but it shouldn't be this bad. Like, I shouldn't have to try troubleshooting it for 3 hours on top of the part that I coded. The rest of the question should probably take another hour, unless it doesn't work either, which it probably won't, because I have to base the rest of my question off of what I've already written. So the solution to the question off of what I've already done. So yeah, I'm not really expecting it to work well. Hopefully it does, though. Hey, Oracle, welcome to the stream. Yes, that is very true. That is correct. Generations is why I'm slowly updating. Barely got the torch down in time. And we're on 112.2 right now. And I know it's taken a long time to get here, but we're trying to think of something to build today while I'm talking about homework. So, how are you, though? Yeah. I don't remember when elytras were introduced. I think they might have been introduced in 112, but I can't get to the end anyways. So, yeah. Because of world generation stuff, I can't. And, yeah, I don't have commands able because in-game line commands weren't a thing in Minecraft Minecraft 1.0. In fact, I don't even think you're able to open up the text chat in, I don't even know if there was a text chat, but I know you couldn't open it in single player until like 1.6. I believe 1.4 or 1.6, somewhere in there. Yeah, that would have made playing multiplayer Minecraft really, really hard. If there was, like, whenever there was no in-game chat, if there was ever that. Like I said, I know you can't access it in single player in really old versions of the game, but I'm not sure. I've never tried playing multiplayer. So, in, like, in Minecraft 1.0. That would be interesting, though. Okay. Play Minecraft 1.0. Yeah, I know 1.12.2 was a very, very popular modded. Yeah. 1.12.2 is a very popular thing. There's still a lot of mod packs that run it. I think that this is also the last version where Buildcraft and Railcraft were on the same. It has been a while. We're on the same version. If I'm remembering right. Technic. That is a name. Technic is a name I have not heard in a long, long time. Not a long, long time, okay? That makes it sound like it's like really, really, like, you know, like 10 years ago. But like 5 years ago, I think, was the last time I've attempted to get onto Technic. The only time, but only last time. I never really did anything with Technic, so yeah. Yeah, I know it was a big deal. That's why I tried getting on it, or getting that set up, because some of my friends wanted to play a Technic pack with me, and I was like, well, I can't. Like, I don't have it. And I'm like, and I tried setting it up, and I couldn't figure it out at the time. I could probably figure it out if I sat down and did it now, but at the time I wasn't quite as good with technology. So wasn't quite as fluid in computer speak and installing programs and stuff. So I gotta say, I have a couple friends, especially in the Building the Kingdom group, who really like modded. I know Skippy is one of them. Mods hurt the brain. Mods hurt your brain, yeah, they certainly can. I will say Applied Energistics can very much so hurt it, especially if you're using the ME. Well, I mean, it's like all things. It's crafting system, it's storage system, it's tooling system, like yeah, there's a lot of stuff that one is. Yeah, there definitely are mods though that hurt the brain. Yeah, I do kind of like this switch back to vanilla because I've said it in the past. I used to always play modded, which is why I like have no clue whenever things were developed as far as the Minecraft development cycle. I was never really in tune with that because I very quickly switched over to modded like exclusively, and it was always like modded 1.7.10. Oh yeah, before hopper sorting is. Oh yeah, that was. It took me a while to get used to not having hoppers, because I think those were introduced to 1.5 or 1.6, I think, if I'm remembering right. Like in this series, I was trying to do stuff with hoppers and I couldn't. I was like, why? And I'm like, oh, they don't exist. They didn't exist for a while. Oh, hold on. I have full inventory still. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I like couldn't even set up an auto furnace system. You had to have massive arrays of furnaces. That classic issue that you run into whenever you do a UHC that doesn't have any speed. I know, right? You had to pick them up and move them, or like cut them down and then like have a water stream push them into one spot that was in your wherever all your items were stored, and then dump them all off into a chest. Yeah, manually pick them up and put them away. Those were, yeah, I don't remember those days because I think I started Minecraft around 1.6. So yeah, I always had hoppers. At least whenever I knew about hoppers, I always had hoppers. Yeah. Never really got late enough to really worry about having too many items. Always was into new worlds and that. Mm-mm. Nope. Most you could AFK for was 5 minutes, or else items would. Well, I guess technically you have your player inventory. Technically you have player inventory, so you can use that. But you would, yeah, but as far as having large scale sorting systems, or even just plain storage to keep the AFK farm going, yeah. Yep. I always was kind of fascinated with the farms and stuff, but I never really built any. I kind of just derped around whenever I started playing. I did a lot of mining with iron picks. I rarely used diamond because I always thought diamonds were too valuable. So I didn't know mending was an enchantment until like a long time. Until I started watching Hermitcraft, I never used mending. And I'm new to Hermitcraft, so I started it watching it like last like 2 falls ago. I think I started watching Hermitcraft like 2 years ago. So it's like 2 years ago in November. So a year and 11 months ago. Yes. And the weird thing is, I've never really gotten into SciCraft or any other SMP. Even though SciCraft is something which I would, at the time, and even now, I would find it more interesting probably to look at SciCraft, but I don't, just because I tend to build the stuff myself instead of watching other people do the stuff. Also, I've realized that those large-scale contraptions are a little on the crazy side for me. Yeah. I'm like, I'll save the really brainy builds for real life, and I'll save all the inspiration as far as technical stuff for real life. Whenever I start actually doing engineering for a living, so yeah. That was probably part of why I never really got into it. But yeah. Oh. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's like once you just make Skyblock in vanilla, like that's what surprised me. I'm like, you made Skyblock in vanilla, like how do you like go beyond that? Like, do you go past that? Like, is that possible? Even like Minecraft can already be hard. You've just like made it like 10 times harder by creating a Skyblock map. I know I am well familiar with the oh, what's it called? Aside from the name of it, Tango's game. Yes, that game has taken that server by storm. Quite literally, almost. It is quite the complicated mess too. To design that, like just the design, not the implementation of the design, but just to design that was so hard. I mean, like the building is one thing. Like that was pretty complicated too. But the technical components of that game are crazy. Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, that's like not just a mini game. Like, it's not a mini game. That is literally a game. Like a going to like buy it like on Steam, like what you're saying, yeah. Yeah. Just crazy. Yeah, I know, right? Skulk sensors. That would have. I don't know if Hermitcraft's going to reset in 117, but if it doesn't reset in 117, then that will completely change the game of, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. That'll be... Because, like, this is almost Ravager Run 2. Like, is there going to be, like, a 3, then? It's like the sequel game to Ravager's Run. Yeah, I would assume I would assume so, especially because it's gonna change World Gen and all of that. Like for me, any like overworld generation update is going to be a world reset, fairly certainly. Like when our 1.8 came out and introduced granite and andesite and diorite, that is certainly, for me, that would have been a definite world reset in worlds that I had. It was, in fact, a world reset in most of the stuff I played. Mm-hmm. Getting a lot of stuff from this half stack of diamonds. That's sweet. Not that there's much use for them. I mean, what good's a currency if there's nothing to spend it on? I already own all the stuff that I need. My inventory is full of useful stuff. I mean, redstone's probably the least useful thing in my inventory right now. Oh, hi there. Yeah, I think we're gonna head back soon. We'll let more of my inventory space fill up. Ouch. Actually, we'll just head back home. Yeah, we got plenty of stuff here. 32 jukeboxes. We actually have a jukebox. Yeah, I think what I'm really interested in is they're changing, like, they're adding in, like what they did with the Nether update. They showed that the game code is capable of doing three-dimensional biomes. So with the Nether update, being able to have a basalt delta below a crimson forest biome, like that was kind of a showcase that they did in the Nether update, and now they're kind of adding that a little bit more directly into the into 1.17, which is, I think that's into the overworld. With the caves and stuff, having where they call it the deep dark, the lush caves, and actually having these things named and not just like, oh, well, it's a box that has a mob spawner in it. Making it more of a biome where there's unique blocks and stuff. I would like to see that. But then there's the question of how much would they increase world height? Or would they? Or would they just move the caves, or move sea level up, or whatever? Personally, I would see them moving, I'd be fine with them moving sea level to 128. But the problem is that you'd have to be able to then distinguish between a newly generated world and another world, or else your levels are going to be all weird. Like if you try to carry a world over. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I think it has to do with processing. As far as the reason why, I think it has to do with how computer resources are allocated. Because if you're around SciCraft, you'll hear them talking about having subchunks. So, in fact, I can show you what these are. So you have a chunk, right? And we're actually like right in the middle of a chunk right now. So the chunk is this yellow box, right? So this yellow grid that I'm inside of. But you see there's the blue lines. And these blue lines represent subchunks. So each chunk is 16 by 16, or well, 16 by 256 by 16. But each subchunk is 16 by 16 by 16, as you can see from this. So, there we go. Pushing all the wrong buttons on my keyboard. So, having a mob spawner as low down in the world, in the lowest subchunk of the world, which is between 0 and 16, is the best as far as productivity, I believe. And if you have blocks and chunks above that, it decreases the spawn rate, even if those blocks aren't spawnable. It's not a huge decrease, but it is one. This is my understanding of it from what I've seen, the little I've seen from SciCraft. So, and if you increase the number of blocks on top, the number of subchunks going up, say you double it, which is what I would recommend, is just going to, let me think, it's 256 going to 512, just because that's, yeah, would be increasing that. So unless they changed the game's code and how it did the mob spawning and stuff, which I think that they might do anyways just because of the cave update, but we'll see. It's kind of too early to tell. Unless they overhauled the mob spawning, the hostile mob spawning algorithm should specify to adjust for that and account for that, you'd probably see a lot fewer hostile mob spawns lower in the world. I mean, yeah, that's, you may or may not. I'm not exactly sure how it would affect it, just I would believe that because of how it is right now in the game, that would do it. I don't know if there's already a scale feature built in. Like if you change the world height, it will automatically adjust how the mob spawning works. So oh, Bedrock. Yeah, I've played Bedrock a couple times, but not much. So yeah. I know people always, or not always, but there's a lot of people who like are confused as to why Mojang doesn't update Bedrock or doesn't make it where it's cross-platform and stuff. Yeah, none of the farms work. That's one big deal. Part of that is probably because Redstone doesn't work the same in Bedrock. I can actually do a quick demonstration while we're letting that stuff melt. I have enough stuff to do this demonstration. If we get... Where's the redstone dust at? It's down here? Down here, yes. Perfect. Yeah. So if we go and we set this up, and I've seen Exuma do this before, I've known it was an issue before as well. But we set up like this. I need another redstone dust powder. Now I don't need the repeaters to make this demonstration work, but it kind of proves the point a little bit better. So these two are both set to the same, right? So technically the two piston arms should override each other. Well, one of them fires, right? And see, it's the same one every time. And in Bedrock, this would be inconsistent. You wouldn't have the same piston. The other one would go too. But if I add a tick of delay there, that piston goes, right? And then, well, okay, now this is a different mechanism because of how this is working out. This repeater's staying fired, which is why that one's zero tick. Why this piston is zero ticking whenever that one retracts. But we're just talking about the extension, really. So in Bedrock, this would even be inconsistent. In Java, it will always operate this way because you have one tick delay on this piston. In Bedrock, this piston will fire first sometimes. This one will fire second, because it's more like something like the growth tick or fire tick is how the redstone works in Bedrock, which is a random thing as to will redstone signal spread. Like, at what speed will it spread through each component? Even though you'd think this is one tick, it might actually take 4 ticks. Or, well, this is technically 2 tick delay. It might take like 4 ticks instead of the 2 that you would think it would take. You know, so that's one of the key differences between Bedrock and Java. One of the things why I'm like, I don't really want to actually buy Bedrock. If I'm going over to friends' houses playing it on their Xbox, then sure. But I'm like, it's not the same as Java. Fundamentally, the coding is different too. There's not really an easy way to port it over to where you can play Java. I don't even know. I don't think it's possible with the difference in the coding languages, honestly. Not to do it in real time. I don't think it's possible to do it real time. So for server stuff, for multiplayer servers, I think completely impossible. I think it'd be completely impossible to do it. Yeah, which is unfortunate because it'd be really sweet if we could play with other or people on other platforms. Like, you know, if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. Water acts differently. Mob spawn, yeah. Mm-hmm. I know that Mojang's been attempting to kind of moderate or mediate those differences and make them more similar on the two platforms. But I honestly am more of like just leave them as two separate games because people play Bedrock because of its quirks, just like people play Java because of its quirks. Um, and there's no way you're going to be able to get Java version of Minecraft running on a phone. Like, I mean, I guess technically with like newer tech, it's possible because phones are getting more powerful, but Java is not the most efficient coding language. Bedrock is significantly more efficient, but I believe it's part of the efficiency that actually makes it less consistent in how it operates because it takes shortcuts, which Java is not programmed to take. Or yeah. You can't do anything in the offhand? Really? Wow. Okay. Shields only. Wow, that's... I didn't realize that. I thought you would be able to actually do stuff with the offhand, like in Java, but... Yeah, that's interesting. Hmm. Huh. The more you know. Yes. That... Yeah. Hold on. Where is... Did I ever walk past the beacon? I think I did. I did. I walked right past it. How many more layers do we got? Oh, we have a whole layer left. After I finish the perimeter of this one. And it's the biggest layer, too. Should probably just hollow out this area so that there's room to operate in here. Yeah. I think it's interesting how different the two versions of the game are. I mean, I know it's the difference between Microsoft, or like post-purchase Mojang to pre-purchase Mojang. Whenever Microsoft bought them, everything changed. Aside from the fact that the Minecraft terms of service still said that the players get free updates to the game. You know, that's why Dungeons has DLCs that you have to pay for, and Minecraft just has updates that you don't have to pay for. Is because it's literally the TOS that says that updates to the game are free. Yeah. I remember reading that clause whenever I bought the game. I was like, oh wow, that sounds pretty sweet. And to me, at the time, I was like, well, why wouldn't every game do that? But now I'm a little bit more economically familiar with how companies work. Imagine World with Minecraft DLC. Yeah, well, it's not that we don't have DLCs. We do, but they're just called updates, and we don't have to pay for them. Once we've bought in the game already. Alright, well, we've hollowed out enough area. And we'll hollow out the layer below too. Yeah, vanilla Minecraft. Well, I guess that's really the only Minecraft that you buy, as long as you're in Java. It was not expensive. It really was not. Whenever I bought it, it was. I want to say. This could be dating me. I think it was like $10, $5 or $10 whenever I bought it. It's not really dating me, but I think it was $5 or $10 whenever I bought it. No, was it 12? It was $12. I think it was $12 whenever I bought it. The original price, believe it or not, was $1. Whenever Notch first released Minecraft, he was charging $1 for it. I know, right? Imagine that if you're one of the first people, you were like, oh, well, that game looks interesting. Oh, it's only worth $1. I'm just going to pay for it. I mean, $1 back whenever Minecraft was released was probably like $1.50 to $2, depending on where you're at in the world now. But inflation hasn't been that big, I don't think. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. $1.25 probably, at the most. But yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd be like, wow, I didn't expect this game to have a... How long has Minecraft ran? Like, it's been a while. Let me go into this stupid house. Thank you. Ugh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, right around 08. Recessions are a weird thing, economically speaking. From an analysis standpoint, they're actually really interesting. We're not going to remove all the tracks, just that little bit to make it a little bit neater. Here. Go ahead and fill this in a tiny bit, I suppose. Then grab a little bit of dirt. Inflation is another thing that's weird to me. Because I'm like, shouldn't money hold a constant value? Like, that's the way I thought that for years. I still think it should. I know that that's not how most economies are set up to work right now, but I think ideally there should be no inflation or deflation. It would totally screw up investments, the investment system of our economy, but it would make more sense to me. Yeah, it would really screw it up, actually. It would actually not just screw it up, it would completely eliminate it. Not completely, but yeah. Be a really different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, I always thought of it in long term. So, yeah, like monthly, what do you, like, pay for, you know? Power, yeah, I'm like, sure, you know, that's a finite, countable resource, you know? But I'm like, why would you spend, like, that much a month just so that you can have a newspaper magazine? Or whatever, you know, some kind of subscription service. I'm like, why? Like, I understand electricity, but why would you do that? You know? I get it a little bit more now, but it's like whenever you buy a new cell phone, like, why would I buy a phone I'm gonna be taking a loan out on? Or a car. Like, why does it depreciate like half of its value the second that you drive it off the dealership? You know, like, huh? It only has like a extra like tenth of a mile on it at most than whenever I bought it, but yeah. A lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. Still has the new car smell even, you know? That doesn't go away the second that you drive it off the lot. I don't know if I'll ever buy a new car. The more you spend, the more you save. Now that is true. That's a very good point. I know for the internet that we have at my house, it was cheaper. Actually, it was just outright cheaper. It wasn't like it was like less expensive. But yeah. But yeah, so the internet at my house, we have a plan where we bundled cable and internet, and we got a higher speed internet. Okay, now this really did not make any sense to me at first, but we got a higher speed internet and cable, which we'd like never had. Okay, we'd never had cable, actually, ever. We just have an antenna, and we're like, it was less expensive than having a slower internet speed. Without cable. So this was very confusing to me, but I kind of figured it out because like whenever we renegotiated, there we go, the plan after like 2 years, then the price went up like $2 or something like that. Still, it was at that point a little bit more expensive than the slower internet plan, but we got cable too. So it's like, How does it work? It works because for an ISP, they have free connection to the internet. All that they have to do is pay to maintain infrastructure and pay for stuff with cable. Or that has to do with cable. Like to be able to have cable channels, they have to pay in order to be able to broadcast certain channels, whatever. Like ESPN and that. They have to pay the companies in order to be able to broadcast their channel. So that's, I think, kind of what it was about, was getting more customers. Just getting, the idea was to get more customers. Of course, we were already customers, but that was something which was extended to new customers as well. So yeah, it is kind of confusing. But then they slowly increase the price over time, is the catch. That's where they get you. If you want to keep cable, then our company, at least in this area, tries to get you on the cable price. They'll increase the cable rate, but not really increase the internet rate. So unless you're actually getting a higher speed internet, they tend to not try to increase the internet's cost. Or they don't increase the internet's cost that much at all. So it's like, yeah. Yeah. It's weird. It's like cable is such a... It's kind of been a really popular thing. At least it's been said to be very popular. But a lot of people don't even... Like they have cable, but they don't like watch it that much. Or there's other people who watch it way too much. Yeah. Because like I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, what do we watch on our cable box? Well, we watch Hogan's Heroes, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and reruns of Star Trek. That's about what we watch. So it's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, why are we... Like, you can... I know Star Trek is on Amazon Prime, which is another thing that we have. And then... I'm fairly certain that Hogan's Heroes is something which we can also get on one of our streaming services, which is Amazon Prime and Disney Plus. So I think it's on Amazon Prime. Prime Video, whatever they call it now. I think it's Prime Video. I know it's not on Disney Plus because it was not a Disney thing. But yeah, it's interesting having streaming services and all that. Yeah, because whenever we had the antenna, we had one cartoon channel. I think we had BBC sometimes, depending on where the satellite was at. What is on Disney Plus? Well, I know I think all the Star Wars movies are on Disney Plus now, including the Clone Wars, all 8 seasons now, and the Mandalorian and Rebels. So literally all the Star Wars stuff, if you're into that. They have a lot of the old movies, so like I think they have both of the Flubber movies. They have some of the newer ones, like Saving Mr. Banks, I believe, is on there. I know that they have Mary Poppins, and I think The Return of Mary Poppins. Is that a movie? I don't remember. But they have quite a few as well. Okay. If WandaVision isn't good. Disney Plus is making new content. Is it new content that I would watch? Not necessarily. Because they purchased The Simpsons, but I don't know why they would have done that. It's not something that's appealing to me at all. They are making the new series The Mandalorian. And actually, no, they're putting it out. They've already made it. Woohoo! Yeah. What else? There's the Inspector Gadget stuff's on there. But other new stuff though. They have on Disney Plus, so The Mandalorian I said. There's what's the other one? I don't remember, and I'm watching it, but it's about the rockets. Whenever the first times that we sent people into space, they have a series about that. It's what's it called? I don't remember what it's called. I think, what was it? Was it Apollo? No, it was not Apollo. Was it? Mercury. That's what it was. Those launches and that, they have a series on Disney Plus about those now. It's a historical drama, so it's not like it's a documentary. It's more along the lines of how, if you've seen Hidden Figures, which they also recently put on Disney Plus, then it's in that same era, of course, because Redstone, the rocket test, Redstone's an area, an area code name, I believe. But yeah, so it's it goes hand in hand with that, even though I don't think it references that movie at all in the series, at least not where I'm at, because it follows the astronauts themselves. Okay, I can tell you why Mulan's release did not go well. So you have, yeah, I thought Hidden Figures was great too. Mulan's release did not go well at all. And the primary reason that I think it didn't go well is because they introduced, with that one movie, I don't think there's any other movies, but there's now a Premier Access thing for Disney Plus. And I don't want to build with iron ore. And it's like, you have to pay $30 more a month to a platform that you already pay for monthly in order to be able to watch Mulan. before late November, I think, is the date that it is released to everyone else. Yeah, exactly. Disney Plus Plus. I'm like, it's not what it's called. I think it's like Premier Access or something. Uh, but it's that idea though of like having a second paid subscription service within a paid subscription service. It's kind of like, but not exactly like, but it's kind of like Amazon, how you have Amazon Prime Music, but then there's Amazon Music Unlimited. But that is actually different because you can get music unlimited without being an Amazon Prime customer. That is a difference. Yeah. But it's like, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the same movie. It's been a long time since I watched the old Mulan too, so I don't really remember it that well. Um, but it's not the same from what I've heard. They've totally changed the roles of characters in that. Downplayed the roles of some of the characters, upplayed the roles of other ones. So it's not really the same movie. Um, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Mulan's totally different. The new one. Now some movies, one of the new movies I do actually kind of appreciate, and there's two of them. They're newer, I suppose, not necessarily new, but having Maleficent and how it's in the same world as Sleeping Beauty, but it is a different storyline. Like it's an alternate storyline to Sleeping Beauty. And I'm fine with that because they didn't try to make it seem like it would be the same movie. And with Mulan, like we thought it was going to be, or at least I did. I thought it was going to be a remake, with a live action remake, more of a scene for scene remake of the movie, kind of more like what they did with Lion King. I thought that they were going to do that with Mulan. Um, Granted, Lion King was not live action; it was animated, but still, that idea where it'd be the same storyline and same characters and roles and all that, with a few differences. But yeah, no, I'm fine with them doing stuff like with the all kind of like the alternate storyline, and yeah, it's kind of like it's in the same universe and it's the same characters, but we know that they're going to be different whenever we did that. It's not going to be like the movie that we knew. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of like the kind of like the Star Wars movies, the last trilogy of Star Wars movies. I know there were a lot of people, including my brother, who did not like it because they didn't follow anything of like lore and stuff. It totally made a new canon for the Star Wars movies whenever they made the last three of the last trilogy that they did. Totally wrecked it. Yeah. They could have done it so much better. And yeah. Yeah. I think that it was, for me watching those movies, I was like, yeah, I don't like what they did with it, but ultimately it's their movie and they can do it with it. But it is true that they did not take into account any fan fiction or stuff that they had even published. They didn't really take that into account whenever they were making that movie. They just kind of like were like, here, this is our new storyline for what happened after episode 6. Yeah, I really like The Mandalorian though, because it doesn't necessarily incorporate a lot of lore in that as to what happened after episode 6, but it does kind of, with the fragments of the Empire still vying for control. And also, it really bringing in the Mandalorians into more of a center spotlight as to, well, they actually had, a key resistance aspect against the Empire whenever the Empire was starting, Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff confused me with what they did with Star Wars. But I think part of it too with the trilogy is why people were so upset is that they removed even the possibility of a lot of that fan fiction stuff, a lot of the lore that was made of that even happening. Now Leia and Solo made, Ben is their son. Well, wait, what? It was so much different. So much was different than what there was lore. And I know that you can't satisfy all of the lore because there is conflicting lore, but they didn't try to they bulldozed right through it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I have heard, and I don't remember where from, that Lucas is back in the seat of Star Wars, or at least that there were plans for him to be back. I know he was an advisor whenever they were making The Mandalorian, I believe on both seasons. They did talk to him. The directors did. I don't think Disney really had a hand in it, but I know that the directors who made The Mandalorian definitely were Lucas focused as far as how would George make this Star Wars, and that they actually talked to him in that. And I think that's probably part of the reason why The Mandalorian felt so Star Wars, because they didn't do much CG in that movie, that TV show. It was a very realistic movie because it was shot on a physical set. They built parts in the stage. It wasn't all green screen. In fact, I don't think any of it was green screen. It felt Star Wars in such an un-Star Wars way. Yeah. What they did, though, was they didn't go out and shoot, in the middle of the desert. But what they did was they instead made a desert in their studio. Um. Uh huh. It what it was. I don't know if you've seen it, but on Disney Plus, this is another thing they have. They have the making of the Mandalorian on there. So it's the backs, the back scenes, the behind the scenes, like what you would see in a movie. If you buy the disc, if you were to buy a disc and it has all the extra features and whatever, it has all the movies and that. Not all movies, but like all of how they made the movie and that. And so they have that series on Disney Plus, and it was so fun to watch. But they shot on this thing called the Volume, and essentially it's screens, TV screens all the way around, all the way like all over the ceiling. The floor was physical. All the props in the set were physical props. So, like, the boxes and stuff were all, like if there was something sitting on the ground, it was actually there in the room. Like it was there. It wasn't CG'd in. But how they really brought it all together was they incorporated video game rendering into their camera system for when they were shooting. So what you had was this like perfect meld of the actors feel like they're actually in the scene that they're acting because they are surrounded 360 degrees vertical or above them, below them, all the way around in their set, like they're actually where they are in the movie. So you are seeing what they are seeing whenever you're watching it. You're seeing what the actors are seeing. It's slightly different just because of how the rendering engine worked, but that's why it felt so natural, was because they were in it. So think of like a holodeck from Star Trek, that kind of a thing. But it's just like, wow, how they did that. One time, they were in a meeting with some of the higher ups, like wondering how it was going on, and all that. So it was the director, assistant director, like two of the directors were just sitting in there. They pulled up their hangar set. The one, I don't know if you've watched it. I won't spoil it really. But they're in a hangar, right? And they're in the meeting, right? So they had their hangar. They were using one of the video cameras that was set up with the graphics rendering engine in it, right? So they looked like they were in the hangar. The people in the meeting were wondering like the whole time how they came up with the money to make a full-scale hangar for the movie, because they know they did not give them very much or like that much funding to be able to make a full-sized hangar. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like just so realistic. And one of the really cool things with it. Oh, this is going to be a mob spawn egg. One of the really great things is that you had the just like with the Mandalorian's armor, it's glinty, right? It's a very shiny armor, and you don't get that in a lot of movies. It's not shining. Because like stuff that you see in movies doesn't shine a lot if there's a lot of CG, because doing green screen acting and going in there and adding that glint in or removing the green after, in post shoot, so in editing, it's very difficult. Just the reflection of the green screens, because it shows up really weird whenever you're doing the editing stuff. But having it in there, one, they didn't have used stage lights because all the light was generated by the TVs. So that made post-editing really light in and of itself, but also the fact that they didn't have to go in and edit the green, any form of green screen out of all the shiny reflective parts of the Mandalorian's suit was just amazing. Yeah. Which kind of makes it stunning to see in a movie, because you don't see shine like that most of the time in newer movies. In older movies, you'll get it. But it's like real reflections. As long as the camera isn't in it, you're fine. As long as you don't see the camera in the reflection, you're good. So, yeah. I just thought the ends that they went to make The Mandalorian, and to make it in a Lucas way, in a George Lucas way, was amazing. And whenever they brought George Lucas in, Lucas was like, wow, that's what he envisioned whenever he was making Star Wars. That's what he wanted to do. But he was years ahead of his technology whenever he was making the first Star Wars movie. He wanted to make something like that in his garage for shooting movies in. Because he was, in the same mindset as these guys now, as the directors who made The Mandalorian, was, well, we don't have, if we can make this and make it look really realistic here in-house, we don't have to spend the money on traveling out of the country to go to these scenes. And we can just send a camera crew out to these other locations. We don't have to send the entire team out with all the actors, all the makeup artists, all of the directors and everything. It doesn't require that if you just have to send the camera crew out with their graphics, with a graphics director. Because if you can go out there and you can make a perfect 3D model of it, then you're able to go through, whenever you're making the scene in the volume, you can just create, use your graphics rendering engine to move around within that model which you've made, which is actually real pictures. So it's like, they didn't do that all the time, but I believe they actually did do that. And it's like, the volume is just this crazy thing. I think that you're going to see more movies using that kind of a thing. They did a mix for the new Jungle Book movie, the live action Jungle Book they did. They did a mix of that and green screen. And one of the directors who worked on The Mandalorian was like, hey, I worked on the Jungle Book. We use this. What if we incorporate more of the TVs, more of the screens, instead of just using a mix? And then they were like, okay, well, we'll do like most of it with the TVs, and then we'll use some green screen still. But then they discovered that using the gaming rendering engine, it was even easier to just not have to use green screens at all. It's one fewer element to incorporate into the plan. So yeah. So I'm like, go for it. That's innovation, and that's what Lucas did. That's what George Lucas did. He was an innovator in the movie industry. Totally changed what we see. You know, a lot of the stuff which was used in Star Wars, from the audio engineering tools to literally everything, was developed by Lucas and his team for Star Wars. Like, I think Skywalker Sound was one company that came out of it. I'm trying to think of other movies that came out of it. Oof. I know that there's more than that. Not movies, companies that came out of the making of Star Wars. I don't remember all of them. Was Pixar from that? I have a feeling Pixar was tied to Star Wars in some way. Like, Pixar's creation might have been tied to Star Wars. Was it, or was it not? This has been quite the Star Wars conversation today. Disney in general, and we can now include Star Wars under Disney. It developed into mostly just Star Wars, though. Because why do I care about Disney? Because Disney bought Star Wars. No, I kind of like Disney movies anyways. Cars. That's a good one. All three. I liked all three movies. I know a lot of people didn't like the second one so much. Wait, no, 4 movies? There's 4 movies. No, there's 3. 3 movies. I've heard people not like the third one either. But I actually like the third one. Aside from the first movie, the third one's probably my favorite. And then the second one. Just because of it's a very real movie. As far as the way that it goes through, the way that it talks about things. You know, it's not the, you know, just the one character developing. It's showing like the development of all of these different characters. You know. Finding a lot of diamonds today. Yeah. The trestle has done it again, by the way. It took the top off of another truck yesterday. No, 2 days ago now. Never mind. 2 days ago. Just right off. State truck this time, though. Don't know which specific agency it was for, but it was a state agency. What I mean by agency, I'm not talking about like secret agent. I'm talking about just one of the different offices of the state is what that truck was for. Yeah. I don't know why so many people... Oh, creeper. Don't pay attention to the street signs. And like, oh wait. Yeah, no. That bridge, it says that it has 12 feet of clearance. I wonder if it actually has 13 feet and I'll fit. Nope. Nope, not quite that much of a margin of error. I think it's like 6-inch margin of error under that bridge right now. Yeah. Don't, if there's a railroad trestle and you're driving a car which might be too big for it, just don't. It just creates issues. Now last year, most spectacularly, was literally probably the most spectacular truck getting its top taken off ever there at the trestle was a chocolate pretzel with or truck with having, and it had peppermint sprinkles, like, so it was like chocolate and peppermint pretzels, and that's the truck that overturned, that got, so it was a semi with a separate trailer. I don't think it was like a box truck. I think it was actually a separate trailer altogether. Actually, no. It was a box truck. It was a large box truck, though. And it actually overturned the truck. And there were... and it was a mess. The trestle was closed for a while. Under the trestle, too. It was closed for longer. I tell you, man, that trestle, it was built right. It was built right. They've never had to have that thing closed for more than... Like, I don't think it ever had to do repairs on that thing because a truck hit it. Like, they'd probably only have to do repairs to it if it got hit by, like, a truck carrying a piece of, like, a crane or something. A truck carrying a crane. That's probably the only time they'd actually have to do repairs to that trestle. Because I cannot remember a time other than whenever they were doing standard maintenance to the track that they actually had to fix anything. They just send out an inspector and it's like, oh, well, the trestle's fine. Person's truck, on the other hand? Nope. But as far as we're concerned, we're good. Yeah. Good old railroad trestles. Showing those trucks how it's done, right? Yeah. Gotta say, I'm not sorry for him. Honestly, there's so much signage up now for that trestle. It's like, if you can't read the signage, that one's on you, man. If you run your truck into the trestle, sorry. That's about how I am with it right now. Because it's like, it's there. Can't miss it. Yeah. It's like every time that I see a truck drive down that direction, I'm like, oh, are they going to stop or not? Hey! Hey! Oh, no, you don't. That just reminded me, this ain't very safe here. I'm surprised that we haven't gotten an issue earlier. But I nailed that zombie. I nailed that zombie in one shot. Yes, I did. Yes, I very much did, sir. Boop. I need lapis, so I forgot lapis, guys. Gosh. I did. I forgot it. Now we have lapis. If you haven't figured it out yet, we're going to enchant this brand new pick. Because my old one is burnt to dirt. Actually, let's actually set this stuff off for smelting. All right. Let's see, this pick has Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 5. Alright, we'll just go and start working on a new pick. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful pick. Beautiful. We're actually going to get ourselves another pick. Just for the heck of it. We got plenty of diamonds to do that with today, so... We had, what, a quarter stack of diamonds? No, 3/4, rather, stack of diamonds, I think. Ooh, efficiency 4 would get it to where we could upgrade this pick. Oh! With the silk touch. With the silk touch, guys. Okay. Well, that's going to be nice to have around, handy. Do we have another pick in here? No, we didn't. We are going to need to keep both of these. We need to repair this one still. So I don't know what we're going to do with the picks. But at any rate, y'all. Speaking of the draw of the y'all. Let's try to get some more XP. Let's see. Can we get enough levels? I would doubt it from this thing. No. Nah. Definitely cannot get enough levels. We're just confirmed. What is this in my keyboard? Don't know. Looks like it's a piece of plastic. Oh, I think that's a part of the keyboard. I just noticed something about my keyboard. That's all. That's all. Yeah, look at all these enchantments, thingies that we got, and look at the advancements. I've had that already. I've had that. Like, I've had this stuff. I've had this. Oh, this was the first update that we had an achievement screen like this, actually. Isn't it? anyways, everyone, that is it for today. So I hope that you all enjoyed the stream. We'll be streaming again later, Saturday. And speaking of Saturday is potentially the last time we're going to stream Saturday. We're going to see. There is a poll. There is a poll up on the Discord, exclamation point Discord, and that is for figuring out when I'm going to stream. So I'm asking you guys because you're the ones who are enjoying it. You're the ones I'm doing the stream for. So please go ahead, check it out. Try to guess when you'll be able to make it. And if you can't make it to everyone, that's totally fine. I get that. I can't make it to every one of the streams I want to watch. So, yeah. And then, so that's on Discord, exclamation point Discord, exclamation point YouTube. This is like the last week that I'm going to be only uploading past live streams to YouTube. So I might be able to start putting out new YouTube only content come next week. So check that out too if you want. Anyways, we're going to do a little bit of slash raid. Zikuternes. And he is a streamer penguin on the internet. Wonderful person to chat with in the stream and on Discord. He has some awesome penguin emotes. Just putting that one out there. So anyways, he's currently streaming Fall Guys. So I want to go over there and see what he's working on. So have a wonderful night, everyone. Hope to see you again Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time.